you're struggling to tap into your creative side, look no further than Dare to Create podcasts. Our goal is to help you unleash your imaginative powers and build a better, more understanding, loving, and kind community. Not only do we discuss the creative process, but we also have meaningful conversations with inspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, photographers, artists, and more. By learning from their journey and supporting one another, we can unlock our creative potential and create a welcoming space for everyone. Join us on the Create podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all platforms. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to leave us a review. We love hearing from our listeners. Thank you for tuning in.
Okay,
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Perfect.
can hear you. I can see you. Oh my gosh, I had so many problems with video calls lately because sometimes I can hear people, but they cannot hear me or they cannot see me, and it's so annoying. And you're almost like rude, you know? If you cannot see you, suddenly you feel like, gosh, I have to find a way to turn on my video.
Oh no.
The pressure.
Yeah, I know. I usually accidentally press this there's a key in my laptop where I can turn off the camera, and I forget that I pressed that, and I'm like stressing for like 3 hours.
So it happens to you as well. Okay, good to know. Good to know. How have you been? How was your January?
It's been a slow month. It's I don't know. Yeah.
It is a slow month, especially if you compare it to December, where things are just moving too fast, and then January is like, you feel like, you know, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
Like, why life is moving so much faster than I am.
Yeah,
I had that feeling.
I'm excited for February though. Like, I feel like
me too.
Every year, the second month is where things start to line up and you start to get more of a mojo. I feel like January is more of like a hibernation period.
Yes, I agree, and I feel like we should allow ourselves to feel this way, and then we can you know, gather the energy and you know, move on, and I'm sure things will develop pretty nicely. So have you submitted your business plan since we last spoke?
I have been going back and forth with my mentor, and and there's just a lot of logistic stuff and money stuff that I have to go through, especially with like cash flow.
Yes.
And I'm in the middle of all of that and trying to because I've already figured out, you know, the cost of all the equipments that I have, the cost of what extra equipments that I will need. I've also thought of the pricing packages, you know, the packages for the prices that I'm serving. So I have to put all of that into the Excel sheet. And then screenshot it and then put it. So I think that's the last step for me to do, and then hopefully I can get some feedback. It's stressful. I was looking at my business plan, and there's like 24 pages long.
That is amazing. Well done. This is impressive.
It's insane. Really, I was not expecting that. Like, I was like, oh, I love photography. I want to make a living of something that I love, and I want to create something that I love. But once you start getting to the business side of things, it's like, oh, I was not prepared.
Yes.
Like, I'm
I
a
agree.
creative. Like, what do I know about business?
Exactly. And you know, this is such a big step forward for you. Thinking from the business perspective, I keep coming across people who have hobbies like jewelry, photography, and they can never make a living out of it.
Yeah.
And I asked them, but did you have a business plan when you started? And they say, oh no, like why do I need that? And then I stopped asking them any more questions about it, because I understand that, you know, I cannot criticize them for not having a business plan, but also it just means that it's gonna take them like twice longer to achieve, you know, like a profitable business, basically.
Yeah.
Because as a hobby, like, it's so easy to slip down and either not charge enough or not charge at all, and not to market things. I'm very slow with marketing. I feel like my product is never good enough to market it. I feel like
your products are amazing. Your products are amazing.
You know what? I spent last 10 or like 20 days trying to build the stock items, and each time something would break, whether it's the threading needle, or I would tangle the silk, or my pearl reamer, which is like a tool to enlarge the hole in the beads, would break. And I was so frustrated. I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not a craftsman, I'm not a goldsmith. I'm doing these things and they're breaking in my hands, and I was just so frustrated. And I was like, that's why I don't market anything, because I think it's just like I have to work and work and work. And then a mentor would be telling me the opposite. He says, I don't care, you have, I don't know, this much money allocated for marketing in January. This is within your financials, in your financial spreadsheet. And thanks to this, I'm actually gonna just do the marketing. Just do it. Whatever I have ready now, I'll market it. And it's better to do that rather than not doing anything, because we will, as business owners, will always have like a bit of doubt in ourselves and our product and service. So stick to the plan. Get like a great financial plan and just like literally stick to it. And if anyone tries to, you know,
something that we're gonna talk about later, and I think that's a way that we're similar as a small business owners, and I want to get into it later, but
well, let's start. Listen, we have to start with our question.
I'm just in here with my rope. I just showered and I'm very cold.
Oh, I'm sitting behind a radiator for the same reason.
I have some candles lit. I got some oil essence going, just trying to keep calm. I want to give as much of insight to everything as possible. So I'm excited to hear everything. And if I keep sniffling, I'm sorry. I have a little bit of a cold.
No problem. I think it's it's February, it's pretty normal. But I hope you feel better soon. So let's start. So Ani, how did you get into photography?
It's been almost 10 years. So I was doing a GCSE course in photography in my sixth form, and I just fell in love with it. It was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Like, I've been doing a lot of health and social care courses, a lot of business courses, but it was like the foundation business BTech business courses, like entry level. And photography, it was like my last year of sixth form. I didn't even graduate.
Wow.
I don't know, do you even graduate sixth form?
What, me?
But I even found my photography teacher on Instagram, and I was like, I invited her to the expedition, but she couldn't make it, but she was really happy that I was still doing photography. So it was just one of those, I think I got tired of not expressing myself enough. And I used to do a lot of poetry and writing, so photography just came at a perfect time where I was very stuck.
Wow. That makes sense.
And yeah, so, and like, you hear this every day, there's so many words that you can see from a photo. Like, one photo says a lot, a million words, a million stories, a million ways that you could everyone can perceive a photo. So for me, that aspect of like the emotion, especially like black and white images, yeah, so
beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what style of photography do you prefer? You mentioned you like black and white pictures.
Yeah, it started off like that, but now I look at my photos and I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing a lot of dark, moody photos. And
oh no, I don't think so.
But I'm like,
dramatic, beautiful,
like very dramatic. So I'm like, do you know what, that is the aspect that I love, because that also kind of brings in the emotions and the stories of it. I don't think I finished that GCC course, to be honest, because I left and then I went straight to work as a cashier. But ever since then, I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna make it so that I know what it means to be creative, to be able to show people what I'm feeling, because I was struggling to show that. So I would practice portraits, I would practice lighting, studio photo shoots. I would I still even have it, but it's a new one right now, but the backdrop and the background and the stand, I think I had a very small one from Amazon at the time. And I had my own tripod, and I went out with my family and we got we got a new camera for a holiday. It was cheap, but it was on sale from Argos, and it was like a DC SLR thing, like a Nikon, and I was like, oh my god, it came with a kit lens, I still use that camera. That's the camera that I've been using for the past 9 years. So
it's more than a camera for you then.
It's more than a camera, like it's been with me through my journey.
That's
so
like a stepping stone. Yeah,
definitely. And sometimes I forget that, to be honest. But yeah, black and white photos, definitely. Now I really, because I'm stepping into like brand photography and stuff, I really want to do a lot of light, airy, vibrant type of photos as well.
Yes, I can totally see that. So tell me more about your creative process. What's it like?
It changes on a daily basis. Usually it's just like a random idea that I get, or I get inspired by watching a show, or I get inspired by a social social situations, and then in my head I'm just just planning it out as like this massive production in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I wish I had the money and the resources to like do that, but I try it in my own way to figure it out as
you go, kind of.
Yeah. And I would write the ideas down, and I'll set up the studios, and I would just be like, okay, well, do I need props? Let's not make it too much props or too expensive props. Just get simple ones, and I would just play around with. That's why I love having my studio in my bedroom, because I don't have to go outside. Everything I need is in my room, so I could just sit and just set everything up and just play around with the lights, and I can play around with like the editorials and stuff like that. So it changes every day. It's never an ongoing set process.
Yes, I totally see that. I mean, that's all about being creative, right? That you every day take it as a blank page and you can create anything on that day, and then you can do something completely different the next day. And that's the beautiful thing about creative souls.
It's insane, like the amount of like that, you know? The amount of production things that is in my head right now. There's a list in my head, and everything is like, okay, well, I need to save up money. I need to do this. I need to do this. I have to make this happen. And sometimes they don't work out, and sometimes they work out. But I think that's the fun of it, you know?
Yes, 100%. Okay, so looking ahead, we are in 2024 now. What type of clients do you want to work with?
Definitely brands. I was going to say brand photographers. I am a photographer. Definitely brands, you know, female business owners. I hardly see myself working with like in a male industry, you know, although I don't mind it. I just feel so drawn to working with female entrepreneurs and business owners and creatives, and I really want to pursue that in the long run.
Okay, yeah, that can be your, you know, unique selling points, or it can be your, I don't know,
yeah.
It's good that you have that in mind, you know, and I'm sure there are other female entrepreneurs willing to work with female photographers, because you might feel more comfortable in front of the camera and the process might be more smooth and funny. And I personally always work with female photographers. That was just by chance, but now I realize, you know, there is something about it. So
yeah, there's just like that connection and that understanding of like, having a business and running a business is not easy as a woman. So the fact that you can kind of discuss that and automatically just connect on that level, it's amazing. And before really sticking to brand photography, I remember when I spoke with Helen, I was talking about weddings. I was like, I want to do weddings so badly. I want to just work with you know, weddings that are looking for just female photographers.
Okay.
And brand was not in my mind.
Tell me. Yeah,
Go on. Oh, I think I lost you. I can hear
you. Thank God, it's back. You are moving. Could you move? I don't have very good internet.
No, it's okay.
It just, there are always some.
I missed your last question. Sorry.
I wanted to talk more about the ready product. So, do you edit your photos?
Yes. I don't do a lot of editing when it comes to my photos, because when I'm taking the photos, I make sure that I'm using a lot of natural lights. I'm using whatever, you know, extra lights that I need. But when it comes to the actual editing, there's a specific way that I want to edit things, and that is just my way of being like, okay, well, these photos are of people, you know, and I want it to make it raw and real and not too touched up and not too, you know, like too polished. Like, flaws are what makes us humans. And when somebody is selling their business or their products or themselves, I want to make sure that they're doing that as who they are and not as, you know, someone else that they're trying to be. And I try to reflect that in my editing.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I've seen your portfolio and I feel like every portrait is so genuine and you actually see the person rather than just like a perfect image, you know, and that's again your uniqueness. There's something so unique about you as a photographer.
And that's what people fall in love with. People fall in love with you, the person behind the brand, not the who they perceive you to be.
So let's talk about exhibitions. I know you had one exhibition last year. Do you have plans to do another exhibition maybe this year?
Now, the expedition, it was one of those ideas, one of those creative process that just came to my mind, to be honest, and that actually worked out by chance. So prior to the expedition, I was not in a good place. And I think this was during the pandemic as well. So like my body shut down, my mind, like I was not in a really good place. So I took a gap year and I went to Somalia, and I just, for the entire year of 2021, I was there. I was doing nothing but eating and sleeping and showering.
You needed that, you know?
And when I came back, it was such a difficult moment for me to being back in London, being back in home and adjusting to everything, to the point where I forgot, you know, certain streets or certain buses, and I got even lost in my hometown, which was really embarrassing. So I ended up in this group, and there was this photographer. It was like a supportive mental health group, and there was this photographer that was also there. And when he found out that I'm a photographer too, he decided to start up a conversation, and we chatted, and he told me about an expedition that him and another painter were hosting. And he was like, why don't you submit a couple of photos? And at the time I had nothing ready, you know, but the concept that I chose for the expedition was a concept that I had many years ago. Is personal story to me and to many women around the world. It's a massive issue in a lot of communities, and even now thinking about it, I'm like, it still kind of gets me, but I'm healed from it in a way. And the photo shoot was a way for me to kind of be like, it happened. There's nothing I can do about it. I was a young kid. All I can do is just move forward. So, and I try to find a model for the shoot, which was very difficult, and I couldn't find one. So me being the subject as well was a last minute decision that I was not expecting. So it's a dramatic self-portrait of a so basically when I was 6 years old, I underwent a FGM.
What's that?
So that is a female genital mutilation.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's when they cut your, genitals, and I don't want to get into it, but so it was about that story, and to bring it to life, I had to think outside the box and make it seem like what it actually is and not what people are making it be. Like not pretending it and hiding it. So I had to get like fake blood. I had to get like the double blades and the needles and the threads, and so I will share with you. I think I've also posted it in my second account, but I'll try and send you a couple of photos if you can see it for yourself.
It's a very strong message, and you were
so it was.
I think it's not represented enough. It's not being talked enough, and I think it's just such so many women and children go through this, and I would say millions going through this, and why we don't know about it, why we don't know more about it. We should know about it. So it's really brave, and it's something so personal that it takes lots of courage to actually go and speak about it and create these pictures. And wow, the
best part was I didn't even have to speak about it. I just had to let my photos do that. And a lot of the people that came to support me and the other artists, they were very, very intrigued by how I did the shoot. A lot related to the shoot. A lot was were didn't know, so I had to do a little bit of educating and all of that. So for me, that whole experience last year May was just an amazing opportunity, not just as a photographer, but mainly as like a creative. So knowing that I still have, or even have the capacity to even bring something like that to life. And before the expedition, I think it was kind of like the validation that I needed, because I was going after the shoot, before the expedition, I was going through my phone and I was deleting some pictures, but then I came across those photos that I took, and I was staring at them and I was like, why are these here? Like, I don't even remember going on Pinterest and downloading these. So it was like the whole imposter syndrome thing, where it was like, these are not my photos. I didn't take them. They're way too good for me to take something like this.
Oh gosh.
So it was that validation of being. And then when I looked closely and I saw myself, and I was like, wait, that's me. Like, I'm in the photos. So like, it was a very empowering moment.
That's so
as
real.
Well. Yeah.
So,
but definitely, I would love to do another expedition sometime soon. Not knowing when, but I want to make it more eerie and fun and light compared to the last one.
Yes, exactly. Now you have, that experience. You came out, and I would love to see some of your founders' headshots. I think they tell the whole story as well, and I would love for you to have an exhibition this year. I think you are just getting started, and I can see there's a beautiful road ahead of you, because you truly have what it takes to become a successful photographer. I really believe in you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
As a photographer, what kind of struggles do you face at the moment?
And I think this is what I was talking about earlier when I said we're similar in a way.
Yeah.
The photography aspect for me is not an issue. Like, the creative aspect for me is not an issue. It's the business side of the photography. As a small business owner, you'll have to wear multiple hats.
Yes.
Whether it's owning the business, doing the marketing, social media management, marketing management, admin, financial,
creative, being the creative director too.
Yeah, it's a lot for one person to deal with, and that is my main struggle at the moment. I think if I really think about why, like, the main struggle with my photography, it's probably like not finding the right network of photographers to be surrounded by. That is something that I'm still looking for. But other than that, the whole aspect of like wearing the multiple hats, I don't think I can do that. And once you know, the revenue and the money and everything works out, hopefully I will I can outsource those.
Yes, I was about to say, when the opportunity comes, try to outsource some
Definitely.
things. I think it's just a wise business decision, because we cannot do everything on our own, and we have to focus on what we are really good at, and the rest needs to be outsourced moving forward. And luckily we live in London, where there are lots of students or freelancers who would like to get experience, and you know, their rate is not very high, and there's just so many people. I haven't started looking into outsourcing, but that's like on my to-do list in 2024, and I would like to start with someone very little, like once a week or twice a week, maybe marketing, or maybe someone wants to practice, I don't know, admin part. I think it's great that we can go out and try to find those people, maybe for trust or
no, definitely.
internet.
And another aspect is like, you know, assistant, you know, having an assistant and doing behind the shoot stuff for you. That is a major barrier for me when it comes to being a photographer. Like, I want to showcase my work, but it's like, how do I do that when I'm already working? Like, I can't. The whole multitasking thing, it gets old once you keep repeating it. So sometimes I'm like, I call my sister and I'm like, are you doing anything? Like, no, I'm chilling. I'm like, please help me. Like, just come over, help me. Just get like behind the stuff shit for me.
Is she a younger sister or older sister?
Younger, yeah. She's
what's the age gap between you two?
Almost 2 years. So she's 24.
Okay.
She's turning 25 this year, August.
So now we've covered like your passion, the way you got into photography. So if someone wants to book you as a photographer, what's the process like?
I have two ways that they can book. There's my website is on my link on Instagram, where they can go through, and there is a booking request. And then I can send them, you know, like a 15-minute discovery video chat. We can talk about their business and their brand and how they want to move forward, and what is, you know, their challenges and parts of like their visual marketing that they want to work on. And then I present the packages that I offer, and whichever they choose will move forward. Then there's the deposits to confirming the booking, and I don't want to make it difficult for everybody, especially because it takes a courage to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do something for my business. I'm gonna invest in my business, because like brand photography is investing. Like, you're thinking about the different ways that you can reach your audience and the messages behind your brand. So if they can't go through the whole thing, go into the website and all of that, you know, just direct message me, you know, on Instagram, Facebook. If you have my number, I'll send you the discovery link, or we can do a phone call. It's fine for like 15 minutes. We'll just have a talk. Instagram videos, wherever we can do those calls and video chats, I'm down for. Great. As long as you're ready to invest in your brand.
And as a photographer, do you offer brands mainly kind of portrait photography, or you can also can you take pictures of the products as well? Do you do product photography?
Yes. So I do 2 main packages, and then there's like the sub packages, like the product photography or just the headshots or just the portraits and stuff. But the main packages are for businesses and brands that really want to just get everything, you know. Yeah. So there are premium packages and there's the luxury package. So includes the products or the services or the lifestyle shoots, the creative aspects of your business, the headshots, the portraits, video reels behind the shoot. So I really just want to compact as many benefits as possible to the large packages.
Yeah.
But if you want to just do like one type of shoot, like a headshots or product photography, then I can absolutely do that.
And can you edit the product images in a way that they look like those photos for the e-commerce websites like Shopify, when you have like a gray or white background and there is a product?
Yeah, I can do that. What I like to do is to use the brand's colors. So if a brand has specific colors, I would really love to use that in a product photography. If not, then we can do the plain white backgrounds. And there's nothing wrong with just having a simple shoot, because like sometimes that also showcases the importance of the product of itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I wish you good luck and all the best with your new journey as a business, not just as a photographer.
Yes.
I feel like you have the right, foundation, and you have the talent. So it's I really wish that your journey goes really smooth, and I'll be looking forward to your exhibition. Hopefully it's going to happen.
Definitely. There's 2 ideas I have in mind for the expedition, and I'm excited to pursue them. So if they don't come out this year, they'll probably come out next year.
Great. I will definitely follow you, and thank you so much, Annie.
Yay, you did amazing.
I think you did really well, hopefully.
No, you did amazing, and you did amazing, and I'm excited to release the episode. So for those of you that are listening, Kate is interviewing me for my podcast, which will be released the 2nd week of February, hopefully. I think this might be the first episode, and then her episode will be after that. But you did amazing, and I love it. So thank you so much. It's actually pretty great for me to just get everything out. Especially I would definitely rewatch the episode and be like, okay, well, that's what I said, and I need to keep myself accountable.
Yes, absolutely. And it's, I think, the more you talk, the more you also get to know yourself better, and sometimes answering questions that you think are simple will actually, lead you to some more complex issues or answers, and it's good to think. Sometimes, you need to slow down and have a think, like have a minute and reflect. So Well done, Annie. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you. You could also follow Kate. I will also link her socials down below as well. She's an amazing business owner and jewelry designer and maker. So go follow her, go give her all the support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome.